human development, fertilization and implantation, a zygote. Spermatozoid, the ovule, and what you get is the zygote right there. So then what's the zygote? Half of the genetic information from the father, half of the genetic information from the mother. They're going to create just one unique cell called the zygote. So I always say that this happened Saturday night. The blastocyst is going to show up next Saturday. So the zygote is just one cell. What the zygote is going to do is going to begin with cell division. So from one cell, you're going to get 2 cells. From 2 cells, you're going to get 4 cells, etc. And that's what you see right here. You see? 4 cells right there. From 4 cells, you get 8 cells. From 8 cells, you get 16 cells, etc., etc., etc. The thing is that by Wednesday, you're going to have something called the morula. That is going to have more or less between 60 to 100 cells, basically. That's what's going to be the morula. It's now a mass of cells, as you can see right here. By next Saturday, this morula form a cavity right here in the middle and 2 groups of cells. The one on the outside of the cavity, trophoblast, and the one on the inside, which is going to be the inner mass of cells right there. Here's the fallopian tube like that. Okay, and then the fallopian tube ends right there, and right here is going to begin the uterus like that. And the uterus is going to be like this, and then the fallopian tube from the other side is right there. So then it takes approximately 7 days from the conception, basically, right, the formation of the zygote right here, to get right here into the uterus right there. Obviously, remember, nothing of this is exact, right, but more or less. Usually the spermatozoid and the ovule are going to get together at the level of the fallopian tube most of the time. So now you're having here, this is the wall of the uterus. This trophoblast will get here and it's going to start eating, digesting the wall of the uterus. Why is it going to do that? So the cells from the mom in the uterus get in contact with the cells of the future baby. That way, the mom can provide blood and nutrients to the cells of the future baby. That's why these cells, the trophoblast, can actually have to begin to eat the uterus right here so they can get in contact with the mom's cells. Therefore, the mom can provide the nutrients and the oxygen and everything that is necessary for the future baby. This, the trophoblast, eventually, together with the cells from the mom, right, they're gonna form the placenta. And these cells right here are the ones that are going to make the baby. Okay, so this part right here, all these cells right there, what they're gonna do, they're gonna form 3 layers like this. 1, 2, and 3 layers. So instead of being a mass like that, they're gonna align and they're gonna form 3 layers like that. Eventually, these 3 layers, they're going to fold like this. So these ones will come this way, and these ones will come this way, and now they're gonna form a cylinder like this because they're gonna fold. These 3 layers are gonna be called from outside to inside, ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm. So then right here, once these membranes fold, then obviously you're gonna have 3 layers, right? 1 layer there and another layer inside here like that. This one is gonna be the ectoderm, the mesoderm, and the endoderm. And this structure that you see right here is this thing more or less right here. What these 3 layers are going to do is they're going to produce everything that the human being is going to be. So the outer layer right here, the ectoderm, is gonna form, for example, your skin. The mesoderm that is gonna be in the middle, for example, that one is gonna form your muscles, your bones, right? The ones that are gonna be inside. The endoderm is gonna be the tube that is gonna be inside. So this tube is gonna be your mouth, your esophagus, your intestines, your stomach. That's gonna be formed by the endoderm. So then from this moment on, it's just the development of the future human being. Right here it says development, fetal cardiovascular system. Okay, and let me see. So that's what we have in here. So right here you have the 3 layers, right? Ecto, meso, and endoderm. Right, and then obviously the 3 layers will form the embryo, which is more or less like 4 weeks. So then the next 6 weeks is just basically the formation of these structures that we're going to have. Trophoblast eventually is going to give you the placenta because that's the one that is going to get in contact with the mom cells. From there, we're going to get some extra embryonic membrane with the yolk sac. Right, the yolk sac is this one in yellow right there. Here, the yolk sac serves as cells of the digestive tract, part of the first blood cells right there, right? And blood vessel cells right there. Obviously, the other one is going to be the amnios, right? It's going to give you your amniotic fluid and the amniotic cavity, right? So they basically, the amnios right there, the one in green, and the yolk sac right there. As I was saying, the trophoblast, right? These cells right here, those are the ones that start eating right here, and they're getting in contact with the uterus, as you can see there. That's for the implantation, right? That's going to be the trophoblast, the one that does that. This part right here, obviously, is going to be the placenta right there, right? This part of the placenta is going to be the area where the baby, the future baby, and the mom are going to share the blood and all those things, right? So then, since they are in contact between the cells of the mom and the baby, there's going to be one side of the placenta that is the mom, and one side of the placenta that is going to be the baby. The side of the placenta that is going to be the baby is going to be the chorion right here. Oh, right here. Chorionic villi. Villi, same thing right here. Right, so then this is going to be the side from the mom, right, with the iris and veins from the mom. Right, and these are going to be the iris and the veins from the future baby. Right, when you get this thing, then obviously you have in here the umbilical vein and the umbilical artery right there. The trophoblast is going to eat into the mom's uterus. Then a lot of blood is going to start accumulating, and then it's going to form this sort of lakes in here. You see it? So then the mom is going to start dumping the blood right here in these sort of lakes in there. And this, the chorionic villi from the baby, right? This was originally part of the trophoblast in there, right? So they're going to start forming this chorionic villi in there. And now they're in here through diffusion, things that are going to start going inside the mom, and then waste is going to start being exchanged right here into these lakes. And then this waste will go right here into the maternal vein, obviously, right? To return into the mom's circulation in order to remove the waste from the baby. Okay, so then if we go right here, well, you have the same thing right there, right? Where you're going to have in here, obviously, this is going to be the placenta, right? This is the amnios right here. The side of the baby of the placenta, remember I told you that's the chorion right here. And this is the myometrium, obviously, that's the muscle in the uterus, right? Okay, so then let's keep going. Before the baby is born, you need to think about this. Look, what is the job of your liver? To clean your blood. And you're inside your mom's uterus, or do you have the need to use your liver? No. What are you going to use it for? Your mom is giving you clean blood. Your mom is cleaning the blood with her liver. So you don't need to use your liver. So you don't use the liver, basically, when you're a fetus. Number two, now we are inside our mom's uterus, right? So this is the uterus right there. You are inside there. Do you think you're going to use your lungs? Do you think you can get oxygen from the air in your lungs? How? I mean, you're not going to breathe through the uterus. So forget about the lungs. The lungs don't work either. Our bodies are very efficient. So if we are not using the liver, if we are not using the lungs, then we have to skip them all the way because it's just a waste of time and effort. So then for that reason, we're going to have something in here called the ductus venosus. Well, the ductus venosum is going to do is going to skip the liver, basically. So then the ductus venosus skips the liver and goes directly up here and merges with the future vena cava, right? Which is going to be this one right here. And it's going to dump the blood right here in the atrium right there. What happens next? But we know that the heart pumps the blood from the atrium to the ventricle. Right? So we know that it's going to go from the atrium to the ventricle right there, right atrium, right ventricle, and from the right ventricle to the lungs. But we said that doesn't make any sense. Why are you going to send it to the right ventricle if you're not going to pump it to the lungs anyways? So therefore, we don't do this. What your body is going to do is going to basically skip these areas, and it's going to send the blood directly from the right atrium to the left atrium right there, like that. And from the left atrium directly into the left ventricle, and the left ventricle is going to pump the blood throughout your body. So since we are going to send the blood from the right atrium to the right ventricle, we have to have a hole. Well, so there's going to be a hole right there that will allow the passage of the blood from the right atrium to the right ventricle. And that's going to be the foramen oval. And nothing is perfect, right? So some of the blood will go down here to the right ventricle, and the right ventricle will pump, and the blood will tend to go to the lung like that. But in order to avoid that, the pulmonary trunk right here is going to have a communication with the aorta, which is this one going like this. This communication is going to be this right here, which is going to be called the ductus arteriosum. Remember, right here we have the ductus venosum at the level of the liver. Right here, the communication between the pulmonary trunk and the descending aorta, that's going to be called the ductus arteriosum, which is this one right here. Okay, and those are the three communications that we're going to have when we are fetus in order to skip these areas because we are not going to use it. So then we're going to have ductus venosum, ductus arteriosum, and the foramen oval. When we are born, we start crying, we start getting air in our lungs. The blood is going to start going from here to your lungs to get the oxygen. From the lungs, it's going to come down here like this. And now that the blood goes this way, we're going to have a membrane right here. And now the change in the flow of blood is going to push this membrane this way in order to close. Now that it's closed, this is going to be called the fossa ovalis. This communication that we have in here, the ductus arteriosum, is going to close and it's going to form the ligamentum arteriosum. And then this communication right here, the ductus venosum right here, is going to close because obviously we're going to cut the umbilical cord, and this is going to turn into the ligamentum venosum.